Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about some really interesting news about Tesla stock recently. This video is actually going to include two different news pieces that I'll be talking about and discussing, in addition to just addressing what is happening in the market currently as well. So with today's video, we'll go ahead and start off just showcasing what Tesla stock is at currently, the share price. So as you can see with my portfolio currently, most of you all are already familiar with it, but I only own three main stocks, and that is Tesla stock, Microsoft stock, and Apple stock, all in order in terms of largest percentage to lowest percentage of my portfolio. So as you can see, Tesla stock is the largest holding in my portfolio currently. So far we've made about $4,500 just today. I've actually had one stock in the negative that actually takes up a significant amount of my portfolio, which is Microsoft stock, and that takes up around 38% of my portfolio. And even though that's negative for today, thanks to Tesla, I've not only been able to break even, but I've been able to make a lot of money as well on top of this one taking a loss for today. So with that being said, as you can see, around 4,700 of the gains for today are just from Tesla stock. And as you can see, it's up 9.97% currently. So we are on an absolute tear today. Kind of unexpected considering that up until 12:25 p.m. this stock was pretty much flat, barely above the market, when a lot of the other stocks are in the negative. So just to see this happen today, I'm not surprised, but I'm definitely excited. So anyways, with that out of the way, before I begin with some news, I just want to say if you enjoy this type of content where I talk about Tesla news and Tesla stock, then please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It really does help me out and I greatly appreciate it. But just moving on to a major news piece for today, this was a recent article posted by BBC, and as you can see, it states Elon Musk says full self-driving Tesla tech is very close. So it starts out by mentioning a quote by Elon Musk that states Tesla will be able to make its vehicles completely autonomous by the end of this year, and it says according to Elon Musk. And what really matters out of this article specifically is where it states it was already very close to achieving the basic requirements of this level 5 autonomy, which requires no driver input, he says. Tesla's current level 2 autopilot requires the driver to remain alert and ready to act with hands on the wheel, but a further software update could activate level 5 autonomy in cars with no new hardware, he said. So this is absolutely huge news for Tesla. I know that all of us have been wondering about full self-driving and where we're at currently in terms of the development of that software, because keep in mind, a huge aspect of Tesla stock, in my opinion, a huge percentage of this share price that we see currently is factored into the full self-driving technology and factored into Tesla winning that full self-driving technology competition. And as many of us know currently, especially us Tesla investors, there's really not any EV company out there that is really relevant in terms of competing with Tesla right now, and that's just in the idea of us talking about electric vehicles. That's not even down the road of us talking about electric vehicles that are also fully autonomous or electric vehicles that have some form of autonomy. Really, only one of the major competitors in terms of autonomy right now is like the company Xpeng in China, which basically has copied every single thing that Tesla has done. Xpeng is genuinely like a clone of Tesla. As I mentioned in previous videos, China doesn't have patent laws, so there's a lot of problems with like intellectual property theft and stuff like that. Yes, Xpeng is its own brand, but there's a ton of similarities between that company and the vehicles that Tesla produces. So as I've said earlier, there's not a lot of competition, but in terms of autonomy, that is probably one of the closest ones, and that's just because they have copied basically everything that Tesla has done so far. So keep in mind, this news is definitely a huge deal because Elon is stating that we are very close to getting to the basic requirements of that level 5 autonomy. Yes, we may not be getting into the more in-depth requirements of that level 5 autonomy, but as long as we're just in that basic area and we're actually on that level, that's still a huge deal, and that's something people should really be excited about, especially if you're a Tesla enthusiast or a Tesla investor. That's really big news in my opinion, and this autonomy is really what's going to change the future of Tesla. That's really what people have a lot to look forward to, in addition to just the various models and, you know, the improvements they make on the batteries, of course, and also the improvements they make on charging. So this is a huge deal in my opinion, and this article goes further into addressing some of the issues with autonomy, which talks about the long tail, and it states in this article that speaking via video, Mr. Musk told the World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai, "I'm extremely confident that level 5, or essentially complete autonomy, will happen, and I think it will happen very quickly." And these are other statements by him as well. "I feel like we are very close. I remain confident that we will have the basic functionality for level 5 autonomy complete this year. There are no fundamental challenges remaining. There are many small problems, and then there's the challenge of solving all those problems and putting the whole system together. And then also it mentions real-world testing was needed to uncover what would be a long tail of problems, he added. So keep in mind, the long tail of problems is a reference to when you have a number like, let's say, 0.000001 or 0.000221. In math, you usually look at that like the long tail. So it's the very, very small problems that are really unlikely to occur, and it's stuff that really can't be replicated in a simulation because it's stuff that happens in real life. Like, have you ever done something in real life and something so strange happens in front of you and you see it happen and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just actually happened in front of me. That's just something I would never expect. And that's exactly what they're talking about here with the long tail. It's things that would happen while driving that you would normally never expect to happen, such as, let's say you're driving along the road and a herd of cattle goes across the road. That would be one of those examples of a long tail. Or if you have another vehicle encounter where it may end up in a crash or something like that and it was caused by a really weird situation, that's another example of a long tail. So it's really based on extraordinary, strange events that would happen in life that even a normal driver probably wouldn't be able to do anything about anyways, but that's what it's talking about with the long tail. And this last piece of article does mention the idea that this is a bold claim by Elon Musk for him to say that we are this close to level 5 autonomy. In my personal opinion, I don't think we're really close to level 5 autonomy, at least by the end of this year. I think it's going to take a little bit longer because, as we know, the more data, the better. So as there are getting more deliveries and more deliveries out there this year, I think we'll get a better idea of when we can see this full self-driving actually come to fruition. And especially, like I mentioned, as deliveries increase, they can sort of fine-tune these long tails that I was discussing earlier, where Tesla starts getting more and more data of these really strange experiences, and they can kind of address that data and help train the neural network for the full self-driving technology even more. So that's the thing that I have in my mind currently. I feel like this is a pretty aggressive timeline, but as we know with Elon Musk, he's always pretty aggressive on his timelines. It's not something new, and if Elon Musk says something is going to happen by a certain amount of time, obviously we should take him seriously, but keep in mind there's always the potential for it to actually take a little bit longer than that. It's just the fact that Elon really does think that these can happen within the time frame, but there's just a lot of, I guess like the long tail type of things that you don't expect to happen in your typical everyday life that could cause the schedule to get delayed a bit. So we've seen that happen with manufacturing and certain models of the vehicles as well in the past, but honestly, I do think it is possible that a basic form of the full self-driving technology could be released this year, but honestly, more realistically, I think it's much farther out than just this year, but I really truly don't think that anyone else is as close to Tesla is right now to mastering this technology. So I still think Tesla is on the forefront. They have very little competition, but in my opinion, no real competition that we should be stressing about just yet, unless it's just like Xpeng or companies that are just pretty much cloning the whole Tesla brand. Next up, we have the second piece of news for today, which I thought is really important in terms of just talking about Tesla and the potential for the future, and that is the Model 3 sales in China. So according to this article from economictimes.com, it states that Tesla China sold 14,954 Model 3 vehicles in June, up 35% from the last month. So like I said, with it being up 35%, in just May, 1 month before June, they had only sold 11,095 vehicles, and that was actually up by around 3,635 units since the previous month before, which was April. So to just emphasize this even more, it states that the US electric vehicle maker Tesla Incorporated sold 14,954 Shanghai-made Model 3 vehicles in China, which, like I said earlier, it was up 35%. So this is definitely a significant news piece as well. For one thing, we have month after month after month increases in terms of China sales for the Model 3. The Model 3 is implementing itself even more into the culture of China, and as we know, culture is huge, especially in Western civilization, and I know it's extremely relevant in China as well. So when you can finally implement a brand to make it popular like they did with Apple here and Apple in many other countries as well, that's definitely huge, and I really think it's a game changer. So if we see more sales and more increases in these sales numbers in the future for not only China, but for the UK and for America as well, and especially in California, that will definitely propel the stock price up even more, and just the overall view of the company as well, because as we all know, numbers don't lie, and I'm definitely a fan of numbers and statistics statistics because it gives you the honest truth. So anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button. Like I said, if you enjoy the Tesla content, I really do appreciate the love. And also, feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull in the description below with my referral link. If you sign up to both of those with my links, then we'll both get some free stocks, which is always really awesome. It helps me out, and it's nice passive income for both of us as well. So I greatly appreciate that. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe out there.